Welcome to another episode of Let's Be Perfectly Queer. On tonight's show, it's all about Fierte Simcoe Pride and the 2020 festival. I have some amazing guests with me tonight from the organization, and here are their introductions. First, we'll start with Parker Buchanan. Parker is a barista by day, but an artist, an organizer, a Pisces, and an outspoken advocate of the 2S LGBTQIA plus peers by night. A hot-blooded, feisty high femme, Parker is passionate and dedicated to their work on queer liberation, body positivity, and neurodiverse disability justice. Parker has been formally involved with the community since working on their secondary school's GSA, which is a gay-straight alliance. They started their journey as a volunteer for Fierte Simcoe Pride's annual Pride Festival in July of 2019 and joined the board of directors as a social media coordinator in December of 2019. Welcome to the show, Parker.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And joining Parker, anyone that knows Fierte Simcoe Pride will know Keegan. Keegan Hobson is a post-secondary student who is engaged in his local communities through direct action, volunteer work, and organizing. Centering harm reduction and restorative justice approaches, he is passionate about mental health advocacy, comprehensive sex education, and Indigenous sovereignty. Keegan is currently attending Ryerson University in Toronto for his Bachelor's of Science work, or social work rather, with a minor in disability studies, which I did not know. I didn't know about the minor. He is active in his local kink communities and is fierce in the pursuit of conversations around consent, embracing discomfort, setting boundaries, and leather culture. He's been organizing with various organizations across Canada since 2015 and is currently the president of Fierte Simcoe Pride. Keegan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm very grateful that you've agreed to be on the show to let folks in the area know what's going on with the Pride Festival this year. So let's get right to that. And I'll start with you, Keegan. Can you give us a rundown of what the festival is going to look like in the era of COVID-19?
Yeah, so it is absolutely looking a little different these days. We are committed to hosting an entirely virtual event this year. Everything's going to be online, which is incredibly exciting because it also makes it considerably more accessible, especially as we're located in such a widespread rural community.
Right.
Some of the key events that we've done in past years that we're bringing back this year with like our amazing dedicated team of volunteers is our annual drive-in with the Barrie Sunset Theatre. We are doing a Trans March Caravan edition. We're doing Pride Prom virtual, we're hosting a mini conference for education, and we're also doing our annual awards gala online this year.
That's sweet. Now, are you doing anything that involves any physical distancing other than obviously the caravan, but any other events where folks will actually be able to meet in person and stay physically distanced and wear masks and whatnot? Or will everything just be online?
Unfortunately not this year. We are committed to strictly online. Our community has a lot of unique intricacies that makes us a lot higher risk for infectious diseases like COVID, and we just don't want to take that risk for our board members and volunteers and community.
That's very fair. That's very fair. So, and your role in all this, Parker, as the social media coordinator, what does that look like? What does Parker do as a social media coordinator with Fierte Simcoe Pride?
I am still easing myself into the role just because I hadn't done any sort of like board work or anything like that. So I'm still definitely learning, but it has a lot to do with engaging with the community online, especially in the age of COVID-19. Like I said earlier, we're starting to use our Twitter again, and I'm really excited about that. Generally just engaging and promoting, and then also reaching out to other Pride organizations online and just having that kind of online friendship, solidarity sort of thing.
Now, just touching on that, and this question I'll maybe put to you, Keegan. I know in the past, a lot of the events that Simcoe Pride has put on has also been in partnership with other organizations. I'm thinking of the Two-Spirit, the Georgian Bay Two-Spirit Powwow, and flag raisings at Base Borden, for example. Are any of those sort of things being able to go on this year? I don't know. Is there a virtual powwow happening that could essentially become part of the festival as well, or do we know at this point?
So we didn't host the powwow. We supported the Two-Spirit youth who were hosting it.
Right.
They have decided that they aren't going to be doing it again just yet. They have a lot going on in their lives, and it's a pretty powwow. So unfortunately, that's not happening this year.
Sorry, Keegan, I'm losing your sound a bit.
Apologies. I will speak
That's
right
better.
into my mic. So unfortunately, those events are not happening this year, and we don't have any set events that are for sure like this is our partner event. We will be hosting our monthly coffee social that we do with the Gilbert Center that's gone virtual. But other than that, we're kind of just trying to make these events happen virtually and totally willing to work with whoever wants to work with them.
Awesome. So just based on the information that I've received, the mini conference, you're doing that on July 31st?
Yes, yeah, we are.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what that's going to look like.
Parker, do you want to speak to this?
I think the mini conference is going to be interesting. We've had, I believe we were having the community like bring people forward and nominate them as we've done in the past with like the youth of the year and like person of the year and like organizations of the year. That's going to be really cool. Keegan, I'll let you take the rest because I'm not as familiar with the mini conference and I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, no, this is our first year hosting this specific event. We always try to do an educational portion with our Pride Weeks just because we think that's really important. So this year, the conference is about featuring local folks who are going to lead workshops that they think are relevant for our community to experience and attend this year. And throughout that, we're asking that folks donate or pay a small pay what you can ticket price, and all of those funds will be split between the folks who speak. That way they have something for their time and energy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
And do we know what? Do you have any speakers lined up or any like what? I'm curious. Is this sort of the aspect of the festival this year? I know you mentioned education as key, and I think that's something that we see with Fierte Simcoe Pride throughout the year, not just during the 2 weeks of the Pride Festival. Certainly, with all that's going on in the world right now and all that's come to light during COVID-19, obviously anti-Black racism and sort of a focus on what that looks like within the queer community and more specifically the Black and Indigenous and other people of color within the queer community and trans folks. Is this the sort of platform where those conversations are likely to happen during the festival this year?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. We're currently waiting on a reply with a really fantastic speaker to speak about like Black and Indigenous communities and the way they intersect with 2S LGBTQ community and what we can do to show up for those folks. We have someone who will be presenting on the history of like queer movements across Simcoe County specifically. And the other event that we have confirmed is we have somebody who's going to be speaking about ace spectrum identities and what those spaces look like in our communities and how we can better build spaces for those folks.
That's wonderful. And that's on the 31st, and it'll be spread over a few different time slots, I assume then, or?
Yeah, there's ideally going to be 4 time slots for speakers, roughly 25 to 30 minutes each, and folks can choose to attend the whole way through or just attend for a specific speaker if that's what they want to come for.
Great. And will there be a chance for interaction with the speakers, a Q&A session after their presentations, or do we know yet?
Ultimately, I do think it's up to the speakers, but I imagine everyone will want to have facilitated roundtable discussions because I think that's one of the most exciting part about events like this is being able to like have those hard conversations and talk through things as a community.
Great. Okay. And then we've got the Pride Prom on August 1st. Parker?
Yes.
What's Pride Prom going to look like this year for folks?
I actually attended my first Pride Prom with FSP last year, and to say I had the time of my life would probably be an understatement.
Cool.
It was really cute, and I think this year it's going to be definitely different. Since everything's virtual, we're hiring like a local DJ who's like in the community. We are being sure that like we're trying to look at like Pride Monarchs again, trying to engage with the community over like social media. We're like in talks of doing something TikTok related, I believe. And that's going to be really cute. I think it's really special that we have Pride Prom, even though we're doing it online. Like I know like a lot of kids are missing their like actual proms this year. And
Yeah.
I know like when you add being queer on top of that, it's just like a whole nother like layer of anguish, if you will, for some of them. So I'm glad that we have this. I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm really, really excited for it.
Yeah, that's great. I was excited to see that as part of the lineup still too, because I think, and we've seen this in the coffee meets that we've been holding during the pandemic, that we're able to really access a whole group of people that wouldn't normally have come to Casa Cappuccino on the third Monday of each month rather in Barrie. So I think that's important to have that reach beyond, in some cases beyond just Simcoe Muskoka, and to be able to offer that up to folks that wouldn't normally be exposed to that is fantastic. All right, Keegan, back to you with August 2nd is the drive-in. Do we know what's happening there? Do we know what movies folks are going to have an opportunity to see?
So I'm not 100% sure on movies. From what I understand of the drive-in, they do usually show the same movies all month. So I imagine whatever is up on their website right now, they'll be showing then.
Okay.
We have yet to decide on movies, but we do most often go to the family-friendly screen. That way, if folks want to bring youth, they can attend with us. It's going to look very similar this year. It's just going to be folks able to register online. They get a ticket. They can drive out, get in for free with a carload of folks. They can choose to come and watch the movie with us or go to a different screen. And it's just a kind of cool opportunity to share space, support a local business. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure whether there was a specific movie that was being shown that night for Pride, like something queer themed or whatnot. But okay, cool. And then August 6th, I'm showing on the schedule here, is when the Trans March is going to happen, caravan style. This is happening, I'm assuming, in Orillia again, where the Pride March normally would happen?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. And how do folks get signed up or become involved in the caravan?
So we will be releasing like a sign-up form and information form on our website shortly. We're just pumping all that stuff out as we get closer to our Pride season. Unfortunately, it is a limited event in that, like, if folks don't have access to a car, someone with a car, it's a little harder to be engaged in this, but we will be finding ways to live stream it and have people involved online, absolutely. And yeah, it'll literally just be like here's where we'll be meeting at this time. Bring your car decked out with Trans Pride stuff. Let's take up space down the streets of Orillia together.
And is there a planned route for it at this point, or?
There is. We're currently just confirming it with the city of Orillia. And once we get the go-ahead, we'll be posting it on our social media so everybody knows where they can expect to see us.
That's great. That's great. And I'm assuming, just like most events, there will be folks that are going to offer up rides for folks who don't have a vehicle to be in the caravan themselves. Yes?
I imagine so. That's absolutely up to community members and their risk tolerance just with COVID-19 and space. But I know personally I'll probably be opening up my car to some folks with masks on, and
Right.
There are definitely ways to get other people engaged and find ways to bring people out to this event. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I know I've marched for the last couple of years in Orillia, and it's a fabulous event. So the idea of doing it caravan style is pretty exciting. I'm happy to know that's still going on.
Yeah, it's my favorite event personally.
Oh yeah, awesome. That was actually going to be one of my questions once we go through the events. So but I'll get back to that, because the last event that's officially on the list is August 8th for the awards gala, and I'm curious to know what that's going to look like. I was fortunate enough and very honored to be awarded a Simcoe Pride Award back in 2018, and was obviously at that event. And at last year's event was a really fun time as well. That had a ton of amazing folks and some great performances. What's the awards gala going to look like in a virtual format? And this is to either one of you, because I don't know which one of you knows more about it.
Lead on that one, because I genuinely not my area of expertise.
So we are absolutely truthfully fleshing things out as we go this year. COVID has changed the game for Pride organizing. I will say we have some amazing ideas. There is the same nomination process we've always gone through. It's still open for another couple of days, I believe. People can nominate Youth of the Year, Person of the Year, organization, business, and community. We've had a couple of nominations, which is fantastic. And yeah, it's essentially just going to be this amazing online extravaganza with local performances, maybe some speakers, an amazing playlist. We're trying to find a way to do like a cute drop-off letter, open your letter on camera to see if you're the recipient reveal for folks, just to kind of, amp up the excitement around that.
Right.
But yeah.
That's a great idea. I love that. Okay. So the only other events then that I've been made aware of anyway are flag raisings. And I know last year, how many flag raisings did the organization do last year? Like 17 or 18 or?
We did 22 flag raisings and proclamations last year.
Wow. And will that number stay the same this year?
So far, we are pretty on track, with having all of our flag raisings and proclamations. It's a little different this year because we took a unique approach of only asking the county of Simcoe to raise a flag and do a distanced flag raising. And we asked the other townships and municipalities for proclamations, but several of them, including Stayner and Wasaga and Collingwood, were like, no, we want to raise a flag. This is really important to us, which was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there will be, I think, 7 or 8 flag raisings happening across the county, which are small and will be live streamed and socially distant. But yeah, it was really amazing that some of the municipalities were just so dead set on wanting to be able to raise a flag this year and engage in that way. It was really fantastic to see.
Yeah, that's a great story. That's certainly something that I hope we're able to make more folks aware of, because that's fantastic, especially in light of some of the other issues we've seen around pride flag raisings, not in Simcoe, but I'm thinking more specifically of Dufferin County and my former home county of Amaranth and their wonderful mayor there that I've had some dealings with. So yeah, good on you and good on those communities and municipalities that have said proclamation, yes, but we absolutely want to raise your flag too. That's wonderful. So of all the events that we've spoken of, Parker, what resonates the most with you? What would you consider? And I know the standard answer is going to be, I love all these events, but there's got to be something that really speaks to you and your identity and that you just could not live without this year.
Easily the Trans March, without question. I attended my first Trans March last year, and like the whole feeling of it was just so like, I don't know. I don't think I could put words to it. It was like my first Trans March out as like non-binary and out as like a non-binary femme. And then like to be surrounded with like, like my partner and like my good friends who are all like kind of in the same boat was just so like, I don't know, it was really special to me. And I also think that like being visible and like physically taking up space is my favorite thing. I love it. And I think that's like definitely one of the reasons that the Trans March is so special to me, is that we're just like, here, we're queer, look at my car kind of thing. Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's a march that is really, it's powerful. And it's without having a whole lot of fanfare, really, it makes such a powerful statement, especially in a community like Orillia, where you wouldn't necessarily expect to see that kind of thing. And you certainly don't expect to see as much acceptance. I know my first Trans March in Orillia 2 years ago, I was wondering, okay, what are we going to come up against? And there was nothing but, a few people sort of looking and wondering what was going on. But otherwise, it was a really special event. And I commend Fierte Simcoe Pride for doing such an amazing job with that. And last year was the same. It was a ton of fun. And the picnic at the end is a great way to socialize after that walk. And yeah, so I would agree with you. That's one of my favorite events as well. Keegan, same question for you. What of the events really, resonates with you and is something that, again, you can't live without, with it? Just really, this event really talks to my identity and who I want to be and what I want to show.
So it is the Trans March for me as well. For very similar reasons. I absolutely love occupying space and being very open and candid about like my transness and my trans experience. I'm very proud of it. I've also been lucky enough to be involved in the Trans March since our first one and was the chair for our first one 5 years ago, I believe. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And so it's been really fantastic watching it grow from like a kind of small event to suddenly we had like pretty massive numbers for Simcoe County and organizations reaching out like last year wanting to do picnics after and finding ways to support us. And yeah, it's been amazing. I think that's the event that no matter how exhausted I am after planning and working the entire Pride weeks, I'm like, yes, okay, like this is what it's for. This makes it worth it. I can do this again next year.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's definitely for me, it's sort of the jewel in the crown of the festival for Simcoe Pride. Now, last year was the first year that the festival had a large sort of venue set up with vendors and the party at Heritage Place. I know there's something similar to that happening this year. I heard something about a marketplace for queer artists and vendors that is being hosted on the Pride website. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and maybe some of the vendors involved?
Yeah, so we're doing like an online queer marketplace and basically just like highlighting, like local, like queer, trans, indigenous, like artists and makers from across Simcoe County, and basically just like paving like an easy path for people to see what they want, get what they want, and then like
Awesome.
be able to support these folks.
And that's something I'm assuming will live beyond the 2 weeks of Pride Festival, right? This is going to be a permanent marketplace for folks to be able to go to?
I believe so, and I hope so.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So Keegan, you touched on you mentioned the word playlist, and it's one of the things that I wanted to ask you about as well, and you as well, Parker. So think of an answer to this question, because I know, was it last year, Keegan, that you shared your Pride playlist with me, or maybe it was 2 years ago? I can't remember, but it's still one that I listen to all the time and love it. And I've gotten more and more into Spotify since then, and I've created a few of my own playlists, and I've been listening to some great newer music that's been coming out. So I've got my summer 2020 playlist going. So what I want to know, Keegan, is what's on your Pride 2020 playlist? What's the one song, whether it be something new or a classic, that talks to you about Pride and said, this is a song that is absolutely on my playlist for Pride?
That's a hard question.
I know, because there's so many, right?
There's so many. I think personally, one of my like anthems, as sad as it is, I love sad music, is Village by Rabble, I believe the artist is pronounced. Okay. And it's a song about coming out as trans to your family, and it makes me bawl like a baby every time. Wow.
Okay. I'm writing that one down because I want to listen to that then. Okay, Parker, what's your response to that one?
Okay, hold on. There's like several. It again with Keegan, like you gotta like add in is it sad music, or are we getting like hyped up? Like what?
What's your Pride anthem? Give me your Pride anthem.
True Trans Soul Rebel by Against Me has lately been the one. My partner put me on Against Me, and we saw them live, like I think it's September, and seeing that live like absolutely changed my life. So that's going forward. It's just like a good like, I'm trans, I'm queer, I literally do not care what you have to say about it. Right. And that's special to me.
Okay, cool. I've got both those written down, and when we are done this taping, I will be listening to both of those then. Cool. So we're getting short on time, but I do want to ask both of you one final question. Parker, I'm going to start with you on this one. What does Pride mean to you? I know that's sort of a corny question to ask, but it's one that I was asked, I think this year for the first time, and it really got me thinking. And I know that you're relatively new to the organization. So what does Pride mean to you?
Honestly, I love corny questions. I love corny anything. So that's perfect.
Then you must love my show.
Yeah, it's great. Pride to me, like there was never a point in my life where I thought that I was like cishet, if you will. I have always known growing up that I was like some form of queer, like somewhere on that spectrum. And I've been able to like grow into my identity, like over the past, however old I am, 21 years. And to me, that means like Pride, obviously on a very personal level, to me means like, I don't have to apologize for who I am. I get to just be it. And if you don't like it, shove it, basically. That's special to me. I know it means like a lot deeper things for other folks, but to me, it's literally just like almost the wrath and spite part of it. Like, I'm non-binary, I'm high femme, I'm like dating a trans man, like all of these, like all my close friends are queer, and we get to just like be together for like the nicest 2 weeks of the year kind of thing. That's special to me.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. Keegan, same question. What does pride mean to you, my friend?
It's a hard question. For me personally, I think I've been reflecting about this a lot this year, and pride is a lot about taking up space where we otherwise wouldn't be offered it. It's also about bringing awareness to the fact that these injustices weren't years ago. They were in a lot of our lifetimes. They're still happening. We still have community members that we need to be fighting for. And it's just as much a celebration for me as it is a social movement and a chance to bring awareness back to our community and push really, really hard to create space and honor our ancestors and acknowledge the like really rich history that we have, especially locally, for pride movements.
Another great answer. I took a look at the Fierte Simcoe Pride website just prior to the interview as well, and I just want to make sure folks are also aware of Simcoe Pride's values on the website: respectful, accountable, equitable, inspirational. And I think that says it all for this organization. Certainly, in any dealings I've ever had with Fierte Simcoe Pride. Accountability for sure. I mean, it just goes beyond words for me what this organization does right across this county and up into Muskoka as well. I know you touch on sort of we have Muskoka Pride as well, but I know we go sort of beyond those borders, and certainly this year, in the age of COVID, going virtual, that reach is going to expand even further. And I think that is so huge and so important to be able to reach out to individuals that wouldn't necessarily otherwise have an opportunity to attend some of the events that are normally held in person. So I commend you for the work you do. I think you are an amazing organization that I've always had an amazing time at all of your events. I am looking forward to the next time we can all get together in a non-virtual sense and actually see one another and give hugs, because pride hugs are some of the best hugs you have. Because just like you said, Parker, we're finally, we're in a situation where we're with like-minded folks, with people who have had shared experiences and know that struggle, that despite some of the privileges that we may have, there are things that we share in common as queer folk that just no one can deny that and no one can take that away from us. So I thank you both very much for being on the show. I thank you for actually being able to provide our community with a virtual Pride this year. I think it's going to be fabulous. I wish you nothing but great success. And if there's anything more I can do to help with that promotion of the event, please reach out to me. But in the meantime, just again, thank you both, Keegan, Parker, for being on the show. Really appreciate it. And thank all of you for watching another episode of